I'm Suzanne, 70.
As I sit here in the cozy living room of the family home, surrounded by the laughter of my grandchildren, I can't help but reflect on how far we've come. It's been 2 years since that fateful day in court, a day that changed everything. 2 years ago, I was standing in a cold, sterile courtroom, my heart pounding with a mix of anxiety and hope. Across the aisle sat my daughter, in law, Victoria, looking as composed as ever in her designer suit, but I knew the truth behind that facade. Her attorney, a shark-like man named Victor Black, was whispering in her ear, no doubt plotting his next move. The judge, an imposing woman named Judge Amelia Reed, cleared her throat and began to speak. I've reviewed all the evidence, and I've made my decision. My hands trembled as I waited for her to continue. I remembered the long and arduous battle that had led to this moment. It all started with the death of my beloved son, Daniel. He was only 42, struck down by a rare form of cancer in a matter of months. I was devastated. At the funeral home, the air was thick with the scent of lilies and grief. I stood beside Daniel's casket, touching his cold cheek one last time, unable to believe that he was gone. Victoria, Daniel's wife of 12 years, had been by my side during the funeral, but I later discovered that her kindness was nothing but a pretense. I overheard her talking to her friend in a small alcove. Finally, I'll get rid of that old hag. There's a nice nursing home on the outskirts. She belongs there. I was shocked, my heart breaking all over again. How could I have been so blind? I had trusted Victoria completely. When my husband, Robert, died suddenly of a heart attack 8 years ago, Daniel and Victoria had convinced me to sell my house and move in with them. Mom, it's more practical. We can invest the money for your future, Daniel had said, his arm around Victoria. I sold the house where I had lived for 30 years and gave them the $300,000 from the sale. I never questioned where the money went. As the days passed after Daniel's death, I noticed more and more signs of Victoria's betrayal. She was always out, dressed in expensive new clothes, and she limited my time with my grandchildren, Jake, 14, and Emily, 11. I also saw a text message on her phone from a man named Ryan. Can't wait to see you again. Last night was amazing. I started to piece things together. She was having an affair while my son was dying. The reading of the will was a turning point. We went to the law office of Thompson and Associates. Mr. Thompson, Daniel's attorney, informed us that Daniel had made changes to his will 6 weeks ago. The family home and the beach house, both purchased with my money, were to be placed in a trust with me as the trustee. Daniel's retirement accounts, around $900,000, were divided 60% for Jake and Emily's education, with me as the trustee, 20% directly to me, and only 20% to Victoria. Victoria was furious. She claimed that Daniel was not in his right mind when he made the changes and hired Victor Black to contest the will. I was desperate. I had no money for an attorney, but my old friend, Linda, a retired lawyer, recommended Sarah Lee, a tough elder law attorney. During the court battle, Victoria tried every dirty trick in the book. She spread rumors about my mental state to try and limit my access to the children. But then, I found a sealed envelope in Daniel's office. Inside was a USB drive and a note from Daniel. Mom, if you're reading this, Victoria has shown her true colors. The evidence you need is on this drive. The evidence on the drive was damning. It showed Victoria's affair with Ryan, her plans to put me in a nursing home, and the financial records of her siphoning money from their joint accounts. At the court hearing, Sarah presented the evidence, and Ryan was called as a witness. He confirmed everything, much to Victoria's horror. Judge Amelia Reed's decision was clear. She dismissed Victoria's petition to contest the will and upheld all of Daniel's arrangements. Victoria was left with no choice but to accept the ruling. She took her 20% of the retirement funds and moved to Miami with Ryan, but I heard they broke up soon after. The first few months after the court victory were tough for the children. They were dealing with the loss of their father and the betrayal of their mother. We went to family therapy and slowly, we started to heal. Now, Jake is talking about going to business school, and Emily has a real talent for interior design, just like Daniel. We use the beach house often, creating new memories. I've joined a local art club and even started dating a kind man named Henry, whom I met at a community event. As I look around at the happy faces of my grandchildren, I know that Daniel, even from beyond, has protected us. His love and foresight have given us a new lease on life. And though the pain of losing him will never fully go away, I'm grateful for the family we've become, bound by love and choice.